Hello and welcome to Little Language Models. I'm Detfina Hoja. Today we're going to be talking about validating product direction. So learning if you're building the right thing or not. So this is one of the three main reasons that clients hire little language models for information architecture services, because they have had these projects where I've also been part of as a full-time employee in the past, where a project will start with a lot of excitement on the management level, on the IC, so individual contributor level. Everyone wants to change an aspect of a feature that they're working on for users or an internal process. And while it starts with a lot of excitement, the excitement wears off and then people are pulled in different directions, and either the feature itself is kind of deprioritized, and when it's launched it doesn't have the expected user adoption, so people are not using it as much, they're not finding it as useful as it was initially perceived that it would be, or the feature or the improvement just never sees the light of day, so it does not go live and it's not active, not published as a project. These initiatives where decision-making meetings turn into these long arguments that last for a long time, and approvals take forever, and then management keeps changing their mind on the direction, affect morale and also result in costs and time lost for the company. And this is where information architecture comes in. Obviously, it will not help solve every issue in the product development process, but information architecture has kind of a different approach the process to projects, and it starts with understanding what needs to be built before going to actual building. So what that looks like in practice is that the information architecture consultant, so me in this example, would do a few things before the building starts. So user research with stakeholders, which would mean the people that would be involved in the project. So again, whether it's an internal facing project or a user facing project, making sure that the issues, the challenges, the hopes, the goals of the internal team members are crucial in my experience to a successful launch, because both from the maintenance side, both from the creation side, both from the build side, it's good to understand what the limitations are, what the challenges are that are existing, and what the goals are for the new experience. So commonly when people have like these great ideas, and I'm guilty of this often as well, I will just go to building the thing without actually understanding who's it for, what are the limitations, what I need to know beforehand to make sure that the active development part of the project is and goes as smooth as possibly. So this initial part with the research, so understanding the stakeholders' goals and needs, which is done in an interview process, so kind of maybe 30 minutes, sometimes 45 minutes, sometimes with one person, sometimes with two or so, and each has their own pros and cons and different ways that it's done and why it's done. Besides stakeholder interviews, I also perform interviews with users of the product. Again, whether it's internal or external, the process is kind of similar because the stakeholders and the users kind of differ, even in internal projects. And the idea here is to get as much feedback, as many insights on the user's needs and the user's goals, again, so how they're using the product, what they're struggling with. And this can be done, again, in different ways, whether we have a specific question that we want help to validate the product direction, so whether we're kind of considering two different options of doing the same thing, or whether we're gathering more informational feedback from the user. The interviews really help, and they're a crucial part of information architecture to make sure that you are building the right thing by getting the feedback and the insights from the users who will use the thing. The practice of structuring information or information architecture also takes into account content governance or content management processes, so understanding who needs to be involved in creating the content that will be part of the experience, whether it's an app or a website, who needs to maintain it, what the relationship should look like within the different content types in the model, how they communicate with each other, what are the technical limitations, what engineering thinks of the way that other team members on the design team, marketing team, UX team, product team have built the experience. So information architecture helps with creating aligned teams, which helps with faster approval processes, faster processes in general that are more effective, and reducing risks, or reducing the risk of low user adoption, or that the feature that is being built or rebuilt will not be used that much by users and will not be as helpful. And so this content first approach really minimizes risks and ensures that you are validating as you go and building things that your users will appreciate. Okay, thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye.